What's up everyone, Diana Marchena Garcia here, and I'm going to show you how to change your drone footage from this to this. Alright, the very first tip that I want to give you is to learn your drone and the drone app and practice till you know exactly what every button and every setting does. Learn how all the features work, like active track and how well the sensors work. This is going to give you a lot more confidence and very quickly help you create better looking images. So go on to an empty field and try out all the modes and features. And most importantly, practice getting smooth shots. With drone footage, as with most images, it is very important to keep them very smooth. One way to make this easier is to play around in your app settings with the smoothness. This will help the gimbal react slower to your movement and hopefully make it less sudden. The right way to hold your controller for smooth shots is not like a PlayStation or an Xbox controller, but with 2 fingers on each stick. The resistance of the second finger will minimize jerky movements. One of the biggest mistakes that I used to make is pan the camera from left to right, but that causes way too much motion blur and does not allow for a nice looking image. Practice making shots, make sure you got the hang of tilting up or down while flying forward or backward. Practice orbiting around a subject and make sure you know how the obstacle avoidance sensors work if you have any. The second tip is to prepare yourself before you go out to fly. Check the weather, check your batteries and check your memory cards. The last thing that you want is arriving at your destination, getting out your drone to fly and have your batteries completely empty or your memory card full. Next tip is to choose the right frame rate and the right shutter speed. Before you take off to make beautiful images, you need to know your settings. If you don't want your images to look choppy, you need to set the shutter speed double the frame rate. If you're shooting something that you do not want to speed up in post, a frame rate of 24 frames per second is what is considered most cinematic. You double that and the closest available shutter speed is 1/50th of a second. I personally like to slow most of my footage a bit down to smooth out any micro jitters, so I shoot at 30 frames per second with a shutter speed of 1/60th of a second. In post I slow it down to 24 frames per second and create smooth looking images. The next tip is about the other settings on your drone. If you're planning to color grade your footage, remember to shoot in D-Log if that is an option. Also remember to put on an ND filter if your image is going to turn out too bright with the shutter speed and frame rate set correctly. Alright, now that all of the preparations are done, we are ready to shoot some epic images. The most important thing that we can do is go somewhere beautiful. Of course you can't expect your backyard shots to look as epic as the Caucasus Mountains. That being said, you can find beautiful places everywhere. You just need to go outside and find them. Preferably shoot them during golden hour. Once you found the place that you want to shoot, plan out the shots you want to take and think about the composition. The most common rule of composition is the rule of thirds and the rule of symmetry, but there are many more. I like to search for leading lines and most of my favorite shots include a subject in the image. Although a lot of landscape images are stunning of themselves, having a subject in the frame helps emphasizing the scale and make it look more epic. Also, having a subject helps to tell a story. If you have shot a whole day and you go home and watch your footage back and find it a bit boring, try to fly a bit lower the next time. Remember, when you're flying so high in the sky, there's not much going on in the frame as everything moves quite slowly. When you fly closer to the ground, you create much more movement and make your shot much more dynamic. With these tips, I think you're ready to go fly. And I know what you're thinking. Are there any more videos coming up? Yes, they are. Much more epic images and tutorials are coming up. So if you want to see those, smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.